Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. All right, everybody, happy Monday, and I am joined by the one and only Miss Mary Mazer. How you doing, Mary?
Oh, fantastic, Casey. I'm so happy to be with you today.
Well, I'm feeling quite funky this morning, and I'm looking forward to today's topic. But before we get there, Miss Mary, can you tell us a little bit about your practice and a little bit about how you're helping people these days with everything you got going on?
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I used to help moms birth their babies. Now I help people birth their true selves, their real selves. So it's pretty awesome. And I help them with a tool called PSYCH-K. So PSYCH-K is a very simple and powerful tool that we can learn to use for ourselves and or have private sessions if you want someone else to help you. That helps you right, figure out what the heck is going on with the funk. Like we're going to talk about the funk, right?
Yeah.
And then help you lift back up into the flow of life and you living fully and really, embracing the love and light and beauty that you are.
Beautiful. And people can reach you if they go to igniteandhealyourlife.com. Is that the best way?
Exactly. And just hit contact us and they can send me an email and I'd be happy to contact them that way.
Okay. All right, Mary, I understand that this morning you had some sort of experience with something as we called funk.
Yes, exactly. Let's bring that in there, funk, right? Yeah, exactly. I literally woke up and I felt the funk.
Explain the funk to us, please.
Yeah, thank you. So I just felt it's a disconnect. It's actually an internal conflict that happens within inside of us. And then if you can describe yourself, because literally a lot of times I'll wake up in the morning and I'm giddy about life. I'm like, woohoo, what's life going to bring me today? I really am. I wake up with a lot of gratitude and I'm just so grateful because I know the beautiful changes that we're doing on this planet. And I'm just full of a lot of gratitude for how far I've come and we have come and where we're going, which is awesome. Mm-hmm. Well, this morning I woke up with the funk. So I was like, what the heck? I woke up, I'm like, dang, I feel weird. I feel like, what the heck is going on? I feel like, yeah, it's like literally like something's blocking my love energy is really what it's about. And then you're like, what the heck? So the easy thing that can happen is we can get caught into where we can blame something, right? We can say, what the heck? Who's causing this funk? Like, who did this to me?
Right.
And the funny thing is, I did it to myself. We are creating everything. We are creating everything. And when we can open up and recognize and realize everything happening in your life, you're actually creating it based on the beliefs that you have in your subconscious mind. And this is what we'll be talking about today. So mine, funk, was something that my subconscious mind was bringing up to me this morning so that I can address it and shift it and bring myself back into more of my wholeness again. So it has to do with relating to what my husband and I are going through. We'll be married almost 31 years, but we're really going through a yucky time right now.
Yeah.
Seasons and seasons and seasons, and we haven't had the talk yet, as far as what are we going to do? And, there's this part about, always staying together, but then there's this, so there's a lot of, but we have to get real, right? We have to get real and know when there's times, right? So I'm working with a lot of that within myself and being ready when that time comes to really express myself in love for whatever needs to happen. So that's where the funk was about, but I didn't know that. So a lot of us, it's great when you can actually have a tool that can help you get right to it. So with PSYCH-K, and this is what we'll be talking about here too, if you either come to a workshop to learn it for yourself or you can have a private session to help somebody else assist you into connecting in with your wisdom. I connected in with my wisdom within me to figure out what that funk is. And I did it simply. We do it simply. I literally just stepped into the funk. I didn't have to get into my mind and try and figure it all out because you can get lost in the darn rabbit hole with that. You just like, hey, I don't feel right. I feel out of place. I feel, So with PSYCH-K, the tool that you use, it's a 7-step process for the most common way to transform the energy because the energy was chaotic within me. I was feeling probably judging myself and then whatever.
Was this all subconscious, you're saying?
All subconscious. Well, the subconscious part of us is our programs. And then what the subconscious part of us does is 95% of everything that runs our life. It runs everything in our bodies. So everything. So when you're feeling your guts kind of saying, hey, something doesn't feel right. Perfect. That's your subconscious mind letting you know there's something in there that's out of place.
Okay.
And that's what happened to me this morning.
I see.
I connect in with that. And then literally within a minute or two, with the tool of PSYCH-K, I literally, it's a spiritual process. So I got permission with my spirit that it's safe and appropriate for me to help transmute this funkiness back into my love and light. And I did literally within a minute or two. And then after that, I shifted into the peace and non-attachment. I'm like, holy crap, look at this.
Yeah.
And then the wisdom comes in. So the wisdom came in with me. And what it was is that what the funk was about is that I really, really, really dislike disconnection. I love to connect. Right. I just love to connect. That's just who I am.
Uh-huh.
So I felt disconnected with myself, and then also with my partner right now. And that's what's really bugging me. So I want to have the connection, however that can be, or if I have to just be in my own connection with myself. So that's the gift. And this is what we'll be talking about, is that you have the answers within you. It's time for us to start connecting with our wisdom, figuring out what's going on, so that we can live. So I feel much better, if all I can say.
Well, I'm glad.
Heck of a lot better. And I'm like, well, thank you. And then now I say, thank you, funk, because the funk is actually there for us, but we have to do something positive with it.
I see. I just so I have it right, it was part of it the fact that you were able to stop and recognize exactly what it was, so you were able to use your knowledge and your tools to put it away, or was it you started feeling better because of the tools to actually make you feel better, and it doesn't matter if you understood it or not?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was because I had the tool. I didn't even have to understand it. I didn't even need to know.
I see.
The gift comes in is just all we need to do right now is recognize there's something there that you don't like. You don't like feeling it. You don't like being in there, and then that you can actually change it.
Yeah.
And then the gift comes in is when you can receive the message, you can receive the purpose for why it's there, because we can shift things. And that, like what the old fashioned way would be, is that we used to just stuff things down. That's what
right. Just put your boots on, get dressed, and get to work. Go do your thing.
Exactly. And then we would just rationalize stuff, and we say, well, that's just how things are, whatever. Some days you just have crappy days. Some days you just feel like crap, something, blah, blah, blah. And then we just ignore it. And then we just keep on going. And what happens is that you're gonna eventually, it's gonna explode. And either you're gonna get a health condition, a relationship condition, or a financial condition. That's usually what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So I love it with PSYCH-K. You can be proactive. And that's what I love to do more than anything, is to stay ahead of the game, because I'm all about, let's have a fun, vibrant, love experience here, and bring, have a heavenly experience.
So if you study the PSYCH-K and you become aware of that, you're not saying that these things won't happen, like you won't ever wake up on the wrong side of the bed or have the funk, but you'll know how to deal with it, so you can come back to all the good things and the good vibrations and the good levels that we're supposed to be in. Is that correct?
Exactly. Yes, that's exactly right. Right, actually, because we were born in the 20th century. So we got all kinds of crap that we experience. We all did, every single one of us. And it's time for us to admit it. It's time for us to get into how we really feel about stuff, what's really our truth, and then start putting in how we want things to be in our new way. And this is what we're meant to do. We're literally rising up to who we really are. And to literally let those old stuff go. I had to let some old stuff go. It was judgment within myself, thinking I'm not doing everything right, because you have certain, things you would love to expect, like my parents were married 64 years, right? So I thought that's like a whole really cool thing to do. But my mom didn't deal with stuff. She just dealt with it because she felt like she had to. She wasn't very happy in it.
Yeah.
And that's what and then whatever you get growing up, you duplicate a lot of that, right?
Right.
Or you do make changes, and a lot of us are making changes, and actually the change can be really good. Sometimes it's the best thing you can do.
Wow, it's really impressive that I know that everyone's gonna feel a certain way, but it seems like you have the knowledge and the awareness that you can really make that time a lot shorter. It's not you're gonna go through bad times and things aren't always going to be the best, but you have a way to get through them like in a speedboat rather than a ferry.
Exactly. And I'd love to show, I'm glad you just said that, because I have a little drawing I want to show. Okay,
cool.
Sound good?
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. And then people can do this. They can take a piece of paper and then put a little unilateral cross. Just write it right down. You can even do it too if you want.
Okay.
So take a piece of paper, and then on the bottom, make a little unilateral cross. Okay. Right there, right? And then at the top of the paper, do it again. Put it up there. Okay? So you're going to have it at the bottom and at the top. All right?
Okay.
And then guess what you get to do? You get to fold it so they come on top of each other. Okay? So then fold it, and you'll fold it so it'll be in 3 ways. You're going to fold it so that they can come. So you're going to have it apart, and then you're going to be able to put it together. Can you do that?
Yeah, I
fold it in a way. You're going to fold it. It'll actually fold it twice.
Go.
Yeah, so you can fold it up, okay?
Okay.
This is exactly what PSYCH-K, the tool of PSYCH-K, is here to help offer for you. Is that in life, this is where we are in the bottom. This is who we are presently in our present moment, okay? At the top is where you want to go, okay? So like, let's say for me, I want to have deep connection with who I live with, to have open heart, and we talk about and share and love and yes, right? And then living beautifully, whatever that dream is for you, traveling and growing and experiencing the amazing part of life, okay?
Okay.
But let's say right now you're not in that, because like right now I'm not. Like it's like we're in a bunch of funk where we're just very far apart and not in a good, whatever, healthy relationship, I would call it, okay? For whatever reason. Lots of reasons. The gift with PSYCH-K is that the gap here, you get to close the gap within your own mind and within your own heart. You're going to work within your own self. And what you do within yourself changes your outside world. Because when you start changing your energy within you, so you can bring, in my mind now, I already see that I am already connected now. Because the reason I had the funk is I felt very disconnected. And the reason I felt disconnected is because there's an aspect within me at my subconscious level that I pushed away and hated about myself, probably judged myself with. We all do that with ourselves. Bring that part back into you. So I brought, with using the tool of PSYCH-K, the aspect that was separate from me backed into who I am again. So now we're in the oneness. So then literally I feel more connected. I feel a lot more connected. And even my conversations with my husband are getting a little more connected than they did before. What? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Today, hopefully we can have a really good conversation that can, bring stuff up.
Right.
So this is just what you do. We help close the gap from what we think, because we think what we want to have is so far away, or maybe it's not even reachable. A lot of us will dream, but then sometimes we'll even forget to dream, and then we just get back into reality. This is kind of where my husband is. He's just living in reality. He's not even letting himself dream anymore.
Okay.
And then I'm up here wanting to dream all the time, right?
Right.
And it's important to actually bring the two together, to be in the real reality. Let yourself dream, and then have a knowingness that you can achieve anything your heart's desires for your highest level. That's even better than what you could even imagine, because we are here to create, and we are here to create amazingness. But we didn't get that growing up. We got that it's going to be hard, and it's going to be a struggle, and just be satisfied with what you have, and blah, blah, blah. We got all the opposite, right?
Gotcha, yeah.
PSYCH-K helps you change those programs of the stuff you got, of the limitations, so you put in your expansion, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But then that and I pulled out some cards for us, that my life works beautifully. Okay, how would you like to believe that and know that? My life always works beautifully, and that everything in my life works. Voila! Right?
Yeah.
And it has to be for the good for yourself and all. It can't just be for your own individual self. Those times are done. We all used to be in survival, and I just have to do whatever I feel is what's best for me. Check with yourself. Whatever you want for yourself, is it also good for it all? Whatever you do, is it going to help the world? Is it going to help others? Then that is your sweet spot. Heck yeah. If it's going to harm somebody or hurt somebody in a very negative way, like in a long-term horrible way,
right,
it's probably not a good thing to do. Make sense?
Yeah. I was just thinking of like how you would look at, say, like the stock market. Usually the person who has a great day and everything is up, everything is good, that means that someone who maybe isn't making the right choices, isn't being positive, like you said, is doing it selfishly. That person's on the down.
Right. They could be. The other thing could be that everything just cycles. Everything we have highs and lows. Because what happens is we'll judge things. We'll think, and a lot of times we'll think we're supposed to be on the high all the time. Not necessarily. No. If you actually were all on the high, like literally, then it would get boring after a while, believe it or not, because it'd always just be the same.
Right.
So things are meant, that we can live in the flow within ourselves and be able to deal with uncomfortable things once we know that we're going to actually turn it for good. The key is you've got to know that you can turn it for good.
Maybe not this second, right? But wait a couple seconds or a couple minutes, then it might change. It's that flow, ebb and a flow type thing.
Exactly. And allow yourself to have a new perception. And the new perception would be, can I see this from a love perspective instead of a fear perspective? And that's the sweet spot too. Because if we're coming from the angle of fear, which means a limitation, it means control, it means that you're only doing what you want to do for your own self-interest, okay? The key is when you are doing it out of love, you're actually doing it for your divine self-interest. You can be divinely selfish, which means you're doing everything from love. It's a whole different parameter.
Would you mind expanding on that? The divine and divine love and other love.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so we're born here as a human being, as a beautiful being, and as a newborn baby, we believe that we're separate from everything else because we're a body different than another body. Okay, so we actually get what's called the veil of our separation of our divineness. Okay, which the divineness, remembrance, and all of us actually have this within us. It's in our DNA, it's in our code. That we are always connected, we are always in oneness, and we are all love. And love energy means openness, it means including all, it means always turning things for good. It's all, I know, it's holy. The word holy comes in. It's holy, it's beautiful, it's good. It's, I know, it's when we are in our bliss. It's when we're like, oh, this is awesome. Life is the flow. Life is just like, when you have times, you're like, it can't even get better because it's so good.
I got you.
Okay, that is divine when you're aligned with your divine self of who you are. And that is your full alignment. And then we in this lifetime, we're being called to return into that again. We call it the Christ consciousness. You can call it lots of terms all over the world for that. It just means you are remembering you're always connected to the flow of love. And that we are here as vessels of love. And love means that you do good things. You help things expand. You help things grow. Instead of dying, destroying, hurting, harming. When you get into your individual self and fear, it switches it. Because fear is all about surviving for yourself. It is. If you're scared to death of something, if someone's coming at you, you'll do whatever you have to do. Whether you have to kill somebody or whether they have to do whatever, you're going to do whatever you have to do. Because if you're in that much fear of something. The gift comes in, and this is where different ascended masters came into the planet to show us that you can actually still be in your peace and in your love no matter what else is going on. And this is what we're being called to do, is do that within ourselves. And how we do that is because we recognize what's happening outside of us. Whatever's getting your attention is there to help you make those changes within yourself. Okay?
Yeah. So what about in the during the fight or flight situation? How do we stay in the frequency and the level we're supposed to when that's happening to us? Because of course we're going to be scared.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. So the gift comes in is the more you can pay attention, and it's raising your level of awareness. So the fact that you can even recognize that you're in fear is everything. Because when you can become an observer of it, you can actually connect into your true essence, your stillness. And you literally, your breath is here to help you do that. And how ironic, the last 2 years, everyone was masking themselves, preventing themselves from breathing fully in the life force energy. This is our powers in our life force that we breathe in and we release out the old, okay? Mm-hmm. Breathe in the good, new, love, light, and breathe out the old. So if you're in a fight, flight thing, remember, you're always breathing anyway. You're probably going to be breathing fast because when you're super scared to death, you're going to be breathing super fast. Take a deep breath and hold it. And then blow it out. Do that 3 times. You'll be amazed how you can actually start to observe the situation you're in, even in the fear moment. And you'll recognize, you might even get some thoughts. You'll be like, wow, okay. People that are about ready to die, their near-death experience, they might even just say, wow, okay, well, this might be the end for me. You know, it's a kind of like when the airplane, your airplane's in turbulence, and then you're also thinking, holy crap, am I going to be going down, right? You have a choice. You have a choice. You can be like in such fear and be so afraid of it and resist it, or you can choose to say, oh, well, okay, well, we'll see how this turns out, you know? And then you can still respond. You can still respond. And that's the key, is you can respond from your love. We all have it. We all have the channel within us. It's your level of awareness, recognizing it, and just tell yourself, I'm going to choose peace. I'm going to choose love. And you'll be amazed how differently you'll respond, and how different, when you do that, you raise your frequency within you, your vibration, which then changes your outside world, and other people will begin to start changing around you. That's why when people get mugged, it's because the ones that get mugged, they have a level of fear that actually attracted that mugger.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying. I was just going to ask you. It's so
does.
weird.
Yes.
Because we were talking about that one time, and I wanted to bring that up to you. Like, so say you're getting mugged.
Yep.
What does PSYCH-K bring you to? Do you breathe? What? Tell me in that situation.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that. Well, and I'll even offer what Psyche's offered for me is I no longer get mugged anymore. So that's really good, because I actually was. I've had my purse stolen with hundreds of dollars in it before, and I was even raped as an 8-year-old girl. And in that level, I had so much fear within me and lack of worthiness. That's what attracted that. That's what actually matched that. That doesn't happen to me now anymore.
God.
Meaning, like, people fully respect me and honor and respect me anymore. So that you're going to shift how you are. So your outside reality can begin to change. If it does happen to you, then that just means there's an aspect of you that's ready to shift. And you can still choose love. You can choose forgiveness. You can choose and turn it around. It's a choice. My grandmother was raped when she was 88 years old.
Oh my God.
And she was an amazing woman. I mean, loved. She was a very strong faith woman in her whole life. Well, it was her experience. And, she was walking home from a grocery store 2 blocks away. And so the bagger said, hey, can I help you bring your groceries home? And she said, sure, because she's very trusting. And then when he brought her home, he raped her and strangled her and tried killing her. While it was happening, my grandmother was in her peace. And she lived through the whole thing. And she said, why are you doing this to me? Like, she tried to actually rationally try and talk to the guy while this was all happening.
Right.
Because she still held in her love and her peace. And she did. She prosecuted. He went to jail for 25 years. She stood in her power, and then she chose to forgive him. And she lived 10 more years. And she said, you know what? I have a choice. I could stay in fear. I can stay in not thinking, whoa, the world is horrible. No, I'm choosing love, and I'm choosing to move on.
Wow.
And for her experience, she chose, even if really horrible things happen to you, you can still choose love, and you can choose forgiveness. And she forgave him and wished him well, but yeah, there's consequences. He's going to be in prison for 25 years. And then she's helped other people. Her story has transformed other people. I used to help a starting point ministry when I was really a strong faith in that. And a woman came there, and she told that she had just found out that her daughter was molested and raped by her husband throughout their whole life, and she never knew it. Never knew it until the daughter was an adult, and finally the daughter says something. So she was distraught. She was horrified, and she was horrified for herself that she couldn't protect her daughter. And yet she came because she wanted to find a way to find her wholeness again. I told her in the group my grandmother's story. And literally, my grandmother's story was the one that gifted her. The next week, she came back, and she was at peace. And she says, you know what? I chose to forgive him. Wow. I chose to forgive myself, which was the biggest one. She had to forgive herself, that there was nothing more she could have ever done. And then you could just see her whole energy shift and her whole energy go.
That's
so we can
incredible.
do this. You can do this even without PSYCH-K. You can literally do this. Absolutely. With PSYCH-K, it just helps you do it a lot easier and faster, and really just clean up the stuff a lot faster. It's just here because so much is happening with the changes in our life. Let's just have a tool that can really clean it up really fast. So that's all.
That is amazing people. Oh my God, your grandmother and this woman, a
lot of people have. More people that they don't talk about it, but it's happened way more than what we realize. And the gift is, it's okay. I realize it's an experience. I realize, and it's a choice for me to know how I get to choose about it. I know I'm whole now. I know that I'm worthy. I know that it was just an experience, and that I get to use it to have me become even stronger in my love, enlightenment, and compassion. Because the other people that are still hurting, people are hurting because they don't know how to forgive. They don't know how to let things go. They don't know how to return back to the love of who they are. And I'll even offer for you, I had a client just recently, and it was so beautiful. He's come to work with me just in private sessions about 3 or 4 times. And it's sweet because he's about ready to go take the workshop, which I'm glad to go do this with himself, right? a beautiful man that loves his family and is doing trading, and he's wants to get out of his day job so he can really live big, but he still hasn't reached that level yet.
Okay.
And he got into the funk. So we're going to get back into the funk. He was in a funk. He was in a depressive funk, and his wife recognized it. She knew he's going back into the pit again. And we know this when we're with each other. So she's the one that said, well, why don't you give Mary a call? Why don't you just go have a session with her? And he's like, okay. And he recognized it too. That was the key. He knew he was getting into a depressed. He was getting procrastinating. He wasn't being himself. He was pushing himself down. He had one session with me. He was able to uncover what he actually stepped into his depressed aspect of himself and received the messages that it was offering for him and what it was trying to help recognize. And once he got that and knew, this is what he sent me a message, and I'll read this to you because this is what he gave after the session, a couple of days after the session. Because this is what he said. He said, the biggest difference that I'm feeling now is that the anger and the disappointment is gone. And I've learned to have fun again. That this depressive funk that I was in was lifted immediately, and I feel a closer sense with my subconscious. And now I include my subconscious instead of pushing it away like I always did before. And now I know that it's a part of my life, and in my decisions, my happiness, my difficulties, my opportunities, and my memories. And I don't want to unintentionally block it anymore.
Wow.
It means he's willing to be vulnerable. He's willing to bring up whatever's coming up is here for me. Because it is. Everything is for us. Then we can turn it for good.
Nice. Mary, great show. Thank you so much. Let me give you the last word and let people know how to get a hold of you, please. Thank you.
Oh, okay, absolutely. Yeah, so the real thing is coming on. We're in game time now, meaning get real with yourself. If you're in a funk, like I was in a funk this morning, we all get into funks, right? You don't have to stay in the funk anymore. That's the thing. You don't have to ignore it or push it down or act like it's not there. Address it. Say, yeah, I don't feel right. Yeah, something's weird or something isn't right. Or I'm tired. I'm tired of being sick. I'm tired of dealing with whatever. You can do something about it. You can. If you want, PSYCH-K is a great tool to help you in a very effective way. And you can come reach me at igniteandhealyourlife.com. So awesome. Igniteandhealyourlife.com.
Mary, thank you so much. Can't wait to hear what you have to say next. Guys, we'll be right back. Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.